Manny Pacquiao steps back into the ring to take on Antonio Margarito, live from Cowboy Stadium November 13th on HBO pay-per-view.
This is gonna be a good fight because of Margarito's style. He wants to fight toe-to-toe, and he's a very aggressive fighter, and he throws a lot of punches, and that's what I want.
His work ethic is still great, and even though he's a congressman now. If we didn't have a little chaos going on in our camp, it wouldn't be normal.
I mean, you have one fighter, Antonio Margarito, that set an attendance record when he last fought Shane Mosley, and you have Manny Pacquiao, who's just a global phenomenon.
Y pues esto va por México.
This one is for Mexico. You're bringing back the title.
I'm going to prepare Margarito not only to win this fight, but to put a beating on Manny Pacquiao.
I think you're going to see certainly one of the biggest crowds that have ever witnessed a boxing match. Because of the huge digital screen about 40 feet above the ring, everyone in here gets to get right up in the ring with those fighters.
Jerry Jones might have to build a new arena because this tornado is coming with everything, and he's going to do some destruction come November 13th.
I do believe that the tornado will be downsized to a tropical storm.
Pacquiao versus Margarito live.
You've just been buzzed.
Bueno, yo nací en Torres, California, nomás que me crié en Tijuana. Me empezó a gustar el boxeo y de la edad de 8 años empecé a boxear. Voy a estar ansioso por subir al ring y demostrarle a la gente que puedo vencer a Manny Pacquiao. Yo soy un peleador que me muero arriba del ring y que voy a tirar golpes, voy a ser continuo, como lo he hecho siempre con mi estilo. Esta pelea, la verdad, va a ser una guerra, como siempre. Yo me preparo y doy el corazón arriba del ring. Cuando le gane a Manny Pacquiao, un sueño más que voy a cumplir, y vamos a seguir adelante para lograr los otros sueños que yo tengo. La verdad que no se pierdan esta pelea. Va a haber un nuevo campeón mexicano super welter el 13 de noviembre.
Millions of Filipinos are expecting to bring the honor and bring the victory into the Philippines. It's a big responsibility to me to train hard and focus on the fight. This is not an easy opponent. This is not easy fight. He's taller than me, bigger than me, and I'm small. I'm always believe myself that I'm faster, and I'm smarter than him. Boxing is more sport, is entertainment. No, nothing personal. What I want is both fighters is fighting in the ring. But after that, supposed to be friend, everybody, not always fighting. Yes, be happy and enjoy your job, enjoy your passion, enjoy your sports.
On November 13th, Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest fighters who's ever lived, will get in the ring to fight Antonio Margarito, the most notorious fighter in boxing. At that point, they're going to be one-on-one with no one there to help them. Until then, they have their trainers. Because of that, today, we have a special face-off, tag team style, with Manny Pacquiao and his trainer Freddie Roach against Antonio Margarito and his trainer Robert Garcia. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Lots changed since the last time I've spoken to either one of you. You've been elected to Congress. You got your license revoked. Antonio, you were a celebrated fighter in boxing. You were on top of the world. And then the incident with the hand wraps, the license was revoked right here, right now, so everyone can see. Were you aware of the plaster in your hand wraps?
Miles de veces lo he dicho que no sabía nada. Otra vez lo vuelvo a decir.
I have said I don't know. I'll say it again. I had no idea.
So you had no idea if they were used previous to the Mosley fight?
Nunca sentí nada, no golpeé nada, no se usó nada.
Manny has said that he thinks that you had to know. How does that make you feel?
No, pues entonces yo debo saber también. Se han oído muchas noticias de que el uso de esteroides es lo mismo si yo dijera lo mismo.
Manny, I have to ask you, as everyone always does when they see you, about who, Manny? Who am I going to ask about?
What?
Who am I going to ask about right now?
I don't know.
You have no idea? Wherever you go, you have to hear about Floyd Mayweather.
I know.
Even today, even now. When it looked as though you refused to take tests until a certain point. People, I think, fairly criticized you and said, wait a minute, what's he hiding? Manny is stopping the fight from happening. Then it seems that you agreed to take all the tests they wanted, and he turned down the fight. And now I think fairly, boxing fans say, well, Manny's not hiding anything. He wants to fight. Floyd doesn't want to fight.
The real champion in boxing, wherever, what sport, the real champion is, he will fight anybody. Boxing fans they want to see a real fight. They want to see more action in the ring. So his style is he loves to throw a lot of punches, and then he's a very aggressive fighter. I think it's very good fight between me and him, and we can make a lot of action in the ring, and that's what people want to see at the best fight, right?
Because of the controversy with the raps, people are going to divide your career in their minds into two parts, before and after. Since this is going to have to be a very tough fight if you're going to beat Pacquiao, what does it mean to you? What does this fight mean to you in terms of your showing people who Antonio Margarito is?
Bueno, pues yo creo que todo con este escándalo que se hizo, yo creo que ganándole a Manny, yo creo que se olvida todo. Yo ya lo dejé en el pasado.
What will they think?
Que soy un peleador limpio.
And that's important to you?
Sí, porque estuvieron diciendo muchas cosas que no son verdad.
What do you think about that, Freddie?
I think Manny's gonna knock him out inside of 8 rounds.
John,
Pues que me mira manco, ¿qué?
what, does he see me crippled or something, or what? What's the point?
I saw your last 2 fights.
What is my concern is he need to train hard, I need to train hard, and we have to do our best to make people happy. We have to make people satisfied on our performance on November 13th. That's my concern.
So it's a new look. Why am I wearing the headset on camera? Because it's simply too loud, too tumultuous in this arena for me to possibly hear myself or hear my colleagues if in fact I didn't have the headset on. This is an entirely new circumstance for us, something we have not previously done in more than 30 years of covering boxing at HBO. It's because of one man, one of a kind, Manny Pacquiao, the only fighter we know of ever to be elected to his nation's legislature at the height of his boxing career. The only fighter who could have filled this stadium twice in a year against fighters not from the United States. The only fighter who is his nation's leading citizen and a cultural icon celebrated in media all around the world. The closest thing to Muhammad Ali in terms of his relationship to the global public since Muhammad Ali. Tonight, for the 5th consecutive time, he fights a significantly larger man, looking to once again stamp his imprint on boxing, equaled only by Henry Armstrong in the entire history of the sport. And still, just as is the case every time he enters the ring, he could lose. That's what's at stake for the sport of boxing, for Manny Pacquiao, for Antonio Margarito tonight. Let's get ready. All his life.
But in one night against Shane Mosley, his career and reputation were shattered.
Just minutes ago, an illegal pad was found in Margarito's gloves.
And Margarito looks like a beaten man. Shane Mosley has annihilated Antonio Margarito.
After a 1-year suspension for the hand wrap controversy, Margarito returned to the ring this year, and tonight looks to capitalize on this opportunity of a lifetime. Moments from now, deep in the heart of Texas, in the splendor of Cowboy Stadium, pound-for-pound king Manny Pacquiao and prodigal son Antonio Margarito face off. Will it be history or redemption? Pacquiao versus Margarito is next.
As we are ready for Manny Pacquiao's next attempted step toward immortality versus his biggest opponent yet, Antonio Margarito. Pacquiao versus Margarito is being brought to you by Cowboy Stadium. And now we are back live inside the boiling interior of Texas Stadium. Tail of the tape for Manny Pacquiao against Antonio Margarito. You see the 1-year age advantage for Pacquiao. 4.5 inches of height advantage for Margarito. Shockingly, only a ½ inch of arm length advantage when the arms are measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Pacquiao has extraordinarily long arms for his height. Manny Pacquiao chose to come in light. Weighed in at 144.6 yesterday and has gone up only to 148 overnight. Antonio Margarito followed his plan. Starched himself to make 150, rehydrated up to 165 overnight. You see the number and the 17-pound functional weight advantage that Margarito will carry into the ring. Live at ringside and turning now to Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel, if you had been charged with the responsibility of training Antonio Margarito for the difficult task of fighting Manny Pacquiao tonight, what plan would you have given him?
To take advantage of that tremendous physical size that he has. He's not only taller, but much heavier. Put a lot of pressure on him. Tight defense and shoot punches up through the center. But he must put a lot of pressure. He cannot fight at a distance because Manny Pacquiao has great reflexes and one of the few boxers that I've saw in history that can get you in exchanges and knock you down because not only will he make you miss, but he lands punches as soon as he lets you miss.
Does Margarito have a chance? Pacquiao's a 5-1 favorite.
I think the odds should be a little closer to that, just merely on the fact that he's a big man. There's about 2 or 3 weight differences. I think that Pacquiao should be favored, but not by no 4 or 5. I think that Margarito does have a chance, yes.
All right. Max Kellerman, ever since the beginning of modern boxing, when John L. Sullivan said, I can lick any sumbitch alive, no sport has so succeeded in creating indelible cultural figures. From Jack Johnson and Jack Dempsey, through Joe Louis to Muhammad Ali, and now Manny Pacquiao. How big is Manny Pacquiao?
Well, he's definitely the biggest flyweight ever. Pacquiao is so big, he's now drawn 2 huge crowds to Dallas Cowboy Stadium this year. And I've even noticed the writing about Pacquiao is excellent, the sports writing about him. He attracts, as a subject, good writers and forces the rest to raise their game. It's as though something so special demands more of those in its orbit. He's going to demand more than Margarito has shown in recent fights. But even if Margarito doesn't bring more, we're in for a showcase of one of the greatest fighters who's ever lived, and he still looks at this moment like he's in his prime. I just love watching Pacquiao fight.
And now let's get ready for both fighters to come into the arena, and we'll see them come in. First, Max, a look at the welterweight division picture where both Pacquiao and his missing foil, always discussed with him, Floyd Mayweather, ply their trade.
Yeah, there's no welterweight division, it's a neighborhood. People will fight where the money is. The money men in the division and in boxing are Mayweather and Pacquiao, the 2 best fighters in the sport. Then there's Miguel Cotto, who's still exciting. Shane Mosley, who still has a name. Margarito, you'll see tonight. And Andre Berto, who's very fast and undefeated, although most want to see him in with some stiffer competition soon.
Emmanuel Stewart, this all began when Manny Pacquiao took what some thought was the whimsical challenge of Oscar De La Hoya and turned it into solid platinum by whipping De La Hoya the way he did. I think he's trapped himself now in the sense that I don't know if I'll ever see him fight another guy his size as long as he's fighting. He has treated the public to the notion that he can constantly beat bigger men. Logic says eventually you bite off more than you can chew.
That's very possible, especially when you realize that he really, to me, is nothing but an overstuffed lightweight. I mean, he walks around at 38. He's struggling to get up to 140, which means that he could actually go back to the 140-pound division where there's a lot of action in fight. But the idea of him fighting Sergio Martinez and Paul Williams and those type of guys, a little hard for me to fathom. If he gets away with it tonight, I think he should stop there and start considering going back to fight a junior welterweight, which is what he really is.
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the 8th wonder of the world of sports and entertainment, Mr. Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Arlington, Texas, USA. Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing and MP Promotions are proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBC Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, AT&T, Viva Mexico Plan. Make calls from your wireless phone as if they were local calls. EA Sports Fight Night Champion, available March 1st. Smart Communications, the Philippines' largest mobile company, and Top Gear on the History Channel. The Gearheads are coming to history with Top Gear. Premieres next Sunday, November 21st. And now, here are your three judges at ringside. Scoring the bout, Glenn Crocker, Jürgen Lagos, and Oren Schellenberger. This contest sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, Executive Director William Kunz, Chairman Brian Francis, Boxing Administrator Dickie Cole, WBC President Jose Suleiman, and inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Lawrence Cole. And now for the thousands in attendance and the millions around the world who wish they could be here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, standing with head trainer Roberto Garcia, wearing black with red, officially weighing 150 pounds. His professional record, 38 victories, including 27 knockouts with 6 defeats. From Tijuana, Baja California Norte, Mexico, the 3-time champion of the world, El Tornado de Tijuana, Antonio Margarito. And fighting out of the red corner, standing with head trainer Freddie Roach, wearing white with gold. Official weight, 144 1/2 pounds. Professional record, 51 victories, including 38 knockouts, with 3 defeats and 2 bouts even. From Sarangani Province, Philippines, the 7-time champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao!
Manny! Rosaries, you want to take his rosaries off? Rosaries? All right, gentlemen. I went over things early in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands. Protect yourselves at all times. Understood? Play Olympia, you win or suerte, touch him up. Let's have a great fight.
Antonio Margarito has said that Manny Pacquiao better be ready for war. Pacquiao always is, and so are we.
Manny, you ready?
Already it has been a tumultuous evening in Cowboy Stadium. Prior to the fight, Antonio Margarito's hand-wrapping exercise was, because of his recent history, carefully observed, probably the most carefully watched hand wrap ever, and of course Pacquiao's hand wrap was so observed. But during the same period of time, Members of Pacquiao's camp believed they saw Antonio Margarito either drinking coffee or taking an ephedra-based substance in the dressing room. They protested to the Texas State Athletic Commission. The Athletic Commission had to bring the two trainers together. There were fierce and heated words on both sides. Eventually, it was determined that a drug test after the fight will have to be the measure of whether Margarito has taken a banned substance, and Pacquiao, for his part, gave no indication that he ever considered not entering the ring to fight. So here they are.
And Margarito starting with a decent jab.
Something surely he has worked on in training. The question there, of course, becomes how long does it last? Pacquiao trying to get inside and go to the body. And Emmanuel Stewart, must Pacquiao fight a pressure fight?
Right now, Manny cannot. I see the size difference. It's a big factor right now. I see he's punching. He's not used to punching at a man as big as this man is, who seems to be absorbing his blows pretty easy.
Punching up at an angle robs you of power, does it not?
Yes, it does.
So he has a better chance to affect Margarito with his normal power if Margarito hunches over and brings himself down to him a little bit.
What I'm surprised about is Margarito's jab, which is a very good move. And that seems to be at this stage, the most dominant punch in the fight has been his left jab.
And the last thing people expected to see was Antonio Margarito standing in the middle of the ring and boxing with Manny Pacquiao. But that's what's happened so far. There's a left hand over the top for Manny that brings the crowd to life for him.
Manny needs to try to catch Margarito when he's jabbing with a little left step back and shoot the straight left right through the center. But other than that, he may have a problem tonight. I see the physical side seems to be a big factor.
What about going to Margarito's body and trying to bring Margarito's arms and head down?
Well, one thing, Manny makes adjustments as the fight goes on very well. And if you notice, after most fights when we interview him, he tells you how I was smart, I played it a little safe, I made adjustments. He's a very intelligent fighter.
Margarito has thrown almost exclusively jabs in the first round. That goes against the scouting report. Pacquiao with a good right-left combination upstairs. Margarito's grinning at him as twice Pacquiao fired the left right up the gut and landed it on Margarito's face.
Margarito has shown a good jab, especially early in the round, but Pacquiao's dominated this round with a right hook with a straight left hand to the body.
Well, he's won maybe the round, but I don't think he's dominated. I think I see a lot of effectiveness with the jabs of Margarito still.
The speed advantage is unquestioned, and you saw Pacquiao's blazing hand speed at the end of the round.
Beautiful. Nice and calm.
Relax now, relax now.
All right, it's beautiful body shots, beautiful jab. Keep that going, keep that rhythm going.
Okay.
That was perfect round.
Perfect yung jab mo. Perfect ang body shot. Mientras él se mueve para donde él quiera, los golpes van bien, ¿ok? Usted bien calmadito, el jab largo, largo,
long jab, long jab, long jab. Take him on with the jab. And then the right, but straight and fast. Not slow and not far away. Jab, 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 and then the right. All right, drink a little water. How you feeling? Good?
Albie numbers in round one were fairly even. Pacquiao was 16 out of 63. Margarito 13 out of 53. The shock of the round, Margarito throwing 44 jabs out of 53 punches.
I gave the round slightly to Pacquiao because he landed some pretty clean punches, but the left jab seems to be becoming more of a factor as the fight goes on from Margarito. But I thought Pacquiao landed enough clean shots inside to slightly win the round.
Margarito has been a notoriously slow starter through much of his career. A 53-punch output for Antonio Margarito in round one seems very low, but he has had trouble getting rolling in the early parts of some of his fights, notably the Paul Williams fight. Margarito still content to stand in the middle of the ring and box with Manny Pacquiao, has not tried to drive him to the ropes. The referee is Lawrence Cole. He's the son of Texas State Commission head Dickie Cole, and you usually see him at major fights here in Texas.
You know, early in the Clottey fight, Pacquiao was also hit a bit more than we're used to seeing him hit in recent fights.
Yeah,
and here Margarito has landed not only some shots, he landed a headbutt followed by a right hand. These are hard shots from a big man.
And the size has been a big factor in this fight, as I see right here.
But speed belongs to Pacquiao, and so he rallies back there. Still, the loss of power from punching up could be a factor in the fight. Pacquiao beginning to focus a little more to the body, I think. That would probably be a good idea.
I still see the same facial expression that Margarito had when he fought Cotto.
I mean, you're not supposed to be on the ropes against Margarito, and there he is on the ropes, Emmanuel.
Well, I think the size, I keep saying size, but I just see that being a big factor in this fight right now, the way it's going.
That was the first time that Pacquiao found his body against the ropes. And if there was one thing Freddie Roach harped on throughout training, it was, don't put your back on the ropes. Never.
Looks like Pacquiao is determined not to be bullied by the bigger guy and is foregoing some defense and a little bit more in the mode that we saw him as a lighter fighter when he would go toe-to-toe more with some of the great Mexican fighters that he beat south of lightweight.
Good left hook inside or left cross inside by Pacquiao. He lands the right hook too as Margarito steps in. Margarito has been landing his jab. Pacquiao is landing power shots when he gets close. Uppercuts for Margarito, his favorite punch. He landed both the left and the right hand uppercut there.
This is why when you asked me, did Margarito have a chance, I said yes, mainly a lot because of the size factor. And Pacquiao's, I'm looking at the eyes, Pacquiao is much more uncomfortable than Margarito is at this stage, even though he may be winning the fight.
Brand new experience for Pacquiao, of course, fighting a man this big. Delectable experience, perhaps, for Margarito, fighting a man this small. Couple of power shots at the end of the round, though, for Manny Pacquiao.
Listen to me. It's too early to start banging with this guy. Let's break him down a little bit more with the boxing. Okay? We need to box.
But, masyadong maaga pa. Nakunin natin siya ng ganong sitwasyon. Masyadong maaga. Okay?
When I was giving you the keys to victory earlier, I said Margarito didn't work left uppercuts or right uppercuts through the middle because in the past it's shown that Pacquiao is very vulnerable for punches up through the center.
Active round, CompuBox count, 27-76 for Pacquiao, 26 of 85 for Margarito. They are separated by a punch or two in terms of landed punches in the first couple of rounds of the fight. But a lot of Margarito's lands are jabs, and most of Pacquiao's are power punches inside. You heard Freddie Roach saying to Pacquiao, it's too early to start trying to bang this guy around. You need to soften him up a little more.
It's been a long time since Manny Pacquiao looked vulnerable, and he's looked a little vulnerable here early.
Pacquiao pressing the speed advantage. Margarito still fighting for him, an unfamiliar fight in the middle of the ring, boxing with his hands up, doing reasonably well at it. Part of the book on the fight was Margarito's not a jabber, doesn't have the kind of jab that will bother Pacquiao. First 3 rounds, Margarito's jab is bothering Pacquiao. Good straight left hand by Pacquiao. Brought it around Margarito's glove and landed flush. Another one. Little right hook inside for Pacquiao. Despite the vaunted Pacquiao power, none of these punches seem to be really bothering Margarito. They're just landing. Good right hook inside by Pacquiao, landed on the chin. Now Margarito talks to Lawrence Cole about headbutts. Pacquiao flirts with the corner there, then moves away. Now his back is against the ropes. Margarito tries to press the action. Pacquiao hits him flush with a big left hand, and then flurries and backs Margarito off again. Pacquiao using the hand speed advantage to get Margarito off of it.
It does look like, Emmanuel, that Manny Pacquiao has figured out something in Margarito in the last minute or so.
Yeah, the one thing he's got to do is punch in flurries and get in and out. Because just trying to force a knockout is not going to happen. He's got to eventually catch him with a clean shot. But in the meantime, I still see that the weight difference of Margaritos is pushing through and forcing Manny to back. And it's a difference when moving side to side, but he's pushing him straight back.
Good right-hand shot by Margarito around Pacquiao's guard. I think one thing Pacquiao's discovered in this round is that Margarito's gloves are split, and he can throw his left hand straight up the middle. If Pacquiao hadn't won the round before the last 10 seconds, he might have stolen it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Todos los golpes bien seguros, ¿ok? Pero con la presión, métasele.
Pressure. Go in, get in on the inside, and boom, okay. Not too far away. Now when he's moving, I want secure punches.
Here you see Pacquiao land beautiful punches, even with his defense up. Margarito still was getting good punches because of the accurate pinpoint punching power of Pacquiao. But also, you notice at the end of all of this year, Margarito still has a smile on his face.
Well, as guys will often do as they're being touched up. I'm not sure that means anything, really. Pacquiao now getting a little distance between himself and Margarito in CompuBox numbers. That was a very good round for Manny. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3-0, 30-27, Manny Pacquiao. Jim, I love the guy's power punching. I mean, really, he's winning this fight on clean, effective punching. Now, he shows great ring generalship. Don't take it away from him. He throws the right, then he throws the left, then he steps to the side. So when Margarito comes out of the shell, he don't hit him because the guy ain't there. That's good ring generalship. Pacquiao does it all the time. 3-0, Pacquiao.
I gotta say, I agree with Harold, guys. I see this as a wide fight for Pacquiao. I think Margarito's doing well in spots and rounds, but I haven't seen a round I thought, oh, maybe Margarito won.
No, I give all 3 rounds to Pacquiao also. I think he's winning, but he's got to be prepared to maybe have to go the distance in case he gets a knockout fine. But, even though he's landing and winning the fight, he's got to be, I hope he's in great shape.
I think you're looking at 12 rounds of nervous jeopardy, but he might win every round. On the other hand, Margarito is telling his corner and has told them several times, according to interpreter Jerry Olaya, he has no power, he can't hurt me, talking about Pacquiao. Now, the marks begin to show on Margarito's face as he has a big red welt under his right eye. So Pacquiao can do that.
Yeah, Margarito's saying that Pacquiao's not hurting him, but his face is telling a different story.
Indeed. And Pacquiao's beginning to land with almost every punch.
The difference here between Pacquiao and Mosley, who manhandled Margarito, is Pacquiao may be younger and better and faster than Mosley, but he's not as physically strong and has to do this rather than just bully Margarito around the ring.
But he's beating Margarito up in this round. There's a huge welt under Margarito's right eye. He's backing Margarito up, and he's hurting him. And Margarito can say all he wants that Pacquiao can't hurt him, but that's not true.
Pacquiao hit it with a body punch, I think, and it took all of the starch out of him.
Margarito misses wildly with a right to the body. Pacquiao is fully in control now. Hand speed slices you up. That's what's happening now.
And Pacquiao, no matter how small he is relative to his opponent, has never stopped punching like he means it.
No, but what makes him different from a lot of today's fighters, he punches through his opponents. Most of the fighters today, they punch at the target. Very seldom do they penetrate.
Pacquiao stood still for a moment, got backed in the ropes and hit with an uppercut. And that's the only bad moment so far in an otherwise totally dominant round.
Margarito slowed down tremendously this round, even though he wasn't doing too much and he was losing. But it seemed like that one body punch took everything out of him.
Among all the experts' comments coming into the fight, one of the ones I found most interesting was from Joshua Clottey. Clottey said Margarito's mistake will be to think that Pacquiao doesn't have the power to hurt him. Trust me, he has the power to hurt him.
Work the eye. Let me see the eye.
Yeah, yes.
It's okay. Tony, you got to close up the defense. Well, you've got to throw your hands in. Use your jab. Use the jab first. Start up with the jab.
Here you see the left hand shot to the body, which I think started all of the serious problems for Margarito. Even though he was being outpointed, seemingly with that shot, he never has recuperated. And if you notice, his body form is bending over as if he's still hurt from the body punch.
He looked wilted at the end of the round. And that right eye doesn't look good. The cut man in Antonio Margarito's corner is Francisco Espinoza. He's got a big job on his hands now. Sensational round for Pacquiao, who landed 43 of 62 power shots, demonstrating what a lot of people said coming into the fight, that Margarito is a big but easy target. CompuBox tells us that Manny's output in round 4 represents the largest number of punches ever landed on Antonio Margarito in a single round.
And you know, Pacquiao punches very accurate too. He doesn't just waste punches. His punches are very accurate.
I think he's the most accurate puncher in boxing, Emmanuel. He even has the ability to adjust the punch in mid-arc.
Yeah.
Margarito going to the body against the ropes. That was the first moment that Margarito actually made it look for a moment like his fight against Cotto. And here comes Pacquiao.
As always.
He loves to answer back.
Yes.
Incidentally, guys, I mentioned CompuBox saying that Pacquiao just landed the most punches ever landed on Antonio Margarito in a single round. This despite the fact that Margarito went 12 rounds with extreme volume puncher Paul Williams, who fought a great fight against him.
Well, Pacquiao's hitting him harder.
Yeah. Absolutely, he jolted Margarito with the left hand there. Jolts him with a right hook there.
Pacquiao's fighting spirit is something to behold. He loves fighting.
And you know, he always wants to get the better of an exchange. That's why it's hard to win rounds against him, because if you get him with a punch, he's going to get you back before the bell rings. And look at the different angles that the punches are coming from.
When Pacquiao's trainer, Freddie Roach, was asked about the huge weight advantage that was likely here for Margarito, he said, look, I hope he goes up to 180. Every pound he adds is better for us.
Pacquiao takes his little breathers by the ropes, and Margarito takes advantage.
But he didn't have a lot of snap on his punches, did he?
That's right. Margarito doesn't have much punching power at all at this stage.
He has had something taken out of him again, Emmanuel, the body shots.
That one shot to the body seemed to have changed the fight tremendously. Not that Margarito was winning, but at least he was fighting with better spirit and better speed. But that one shot, everything seemed to sap out of him for a moment.
Well, of course, since Manny's a southpaw, it wasn't a left hook to the body, it's a left cross, but the bottom
Margarito
lands in the same place. Straight left-hand shots for Pacquiao, staggering Margarito momentarily there. Big right hook. Great shot. Another great round for Pacquiao.
Nice job, son. Okay.
Relax down, relax down. That's it. Nawel, señor Miguel, Nawel.
Alright. Manny.
Reto de lejos no tire, bien cerradito.
You can't be on the outside, you've got to go close up your defense and get him in.
Pues cabrón, pero bien cerradito.
Do it.
No
But
tire
close
de
up your
lejos.
defense.
De lejos
Don't
no
throw from
tire.
far away.
Hasta
Don't
que
throw
lo
from
tenga,
far away.
entonces ahí suelta
When
al
you put him real
cuerpo.
close, then let go of your hands. Bring your uppers in. What round is it? What round is it? Oh, it's okay. Sixth.
Well, the right eye for Margarito speaks for itself. And just to make things worse, that's the eye out of which Margarito has to try to track Manny Pacquiao's lightning left hand. Maybe the fastest punch in boxing.
You know what, and not just speed, but he punches with power. Most of the guys that have speed, they don't have power.
Pacquiao in the fifth. or Pacquiao through the first 5 rounds, averaging 33 out of 81. Margarito averaging 18 out of 63. 63 punches average per round for Antonio Margarito, who at the height of his career a few years ago was averaging 100 punches per round. The punch output gets limited when you start fighting in a brand new style as he's doing tonight, and when you start to get hit hard by somebody like Manny Pacquiao. Look at Pacquiao move from side to side.
This is what I said he should do continually.
Creating angles?
Creating angles, yeah, because
there's no way Margarito can find him. No way Margarito finds him when he does that. Just too much side to side.
Pacquiao was moving to his left to start the round to try to move into Margarito's eye where Margarito couldn't see him. That didn't work, so he started moving right and beat him up that way.
In the offseason last year, Chicago Bears cornerback Charles Tillman made a pilgrimage to Las Vegas to watch Manny Pacquiao fight against Miguel Cotto. Afterward, I asked him what was most impressive. He said, easy, the footwork. I've never seen any athlete in any sport.
Very people realize that his footwork is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what Tillman said. I've never seen an athlete in any sport who can get to so many places so fast.
And have punching power. A lot of guys move, but it's strictly footwork. He can move and punch from any of those angles or balance positions that he's in.
Margarito having a better round this one than the last couple. Still losing by a wide margin, obviously, but actually landing some punches in exchange.
Well, Manny's taking something of a breather this round, it appears to me.
But he's winning the round still, I think, Manny. I've given Manny every round of the fight so far. Some bigger than others, but he's winning all of them.
Now Margarito catches Pacquiao twice against the ropes, and Manny finally is able to dodge away. But this gives Margarito energy, this gives him will and confidence. Suddenly he's back in the fight as he's tasted for a moment the advantage of having Pacquiao against the ropes. This is Pacquiao's nightmare, locked in a trap against a much bigger man. Fights his way out of it, bloodies Margarito some more.
Hey, control is fighting your boxing.
Getting close, getting close. Don't throw until you're getting close. Come on, Tony. You okay? Come on, you know what you're doing.
Here you said just the ropes, the best exchange of the night that favored Margarito right here when he was landing a lot of blows and Manny was trying to get away from him, but he was landing shots body and head. But at the end of the round still, Manny came right back with a lot of blows again, which still made it could have been a close round. Because that was the only really good flurry for Margarito. But I think Margarito should have won that round.
Pacquiao's racking up some astonishing numbers, though. 39 power punches landed in that round.
Time in, box.
Now round 7 begins, they're more than halfway through the fight. Harold Letterman, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim. I got it 6-0, 60-54, Manny Pacquiao. I got to tell you, as close as that 6th round was, Manny Pacquiao still landed the cleaner, hardest shots. I thought he pulled it out in the end. Be as it may, Manny circling back and forth, bobbing and weaving, getting on the Margarito shots, and landed tremendous shots of his own. And Jim, the one thing we can't measure is the amount of pain that Margarito feels every time he gets hit on that swollen eye. I mean, he really must be hurting. 6-0, Pacquiao.
I agree with Harold. I thought Pacquiao won every round, including the last one. And Jim.
But you got those rounds that is called comparative rounds. I thought Manny won it. But I think that on the scorecard, Margarito may get it because it compared to the other rounds.
Yep.
But he really didn't win it. But a lot of judges do that just to keep him in the fight, so to say.
Jim, you mentioned that it's Pacquiao's nightmare. I think Pacquiao loves it. It might be Freddie Roach's nightmare to get trapped in that fight, but I think Pacquiao loves a good scrap like the last round.
I think you're correct. I think it's Freddie Roach's nightmare. I think it might be Bob Arum's nightmare. But the bottom line is, you're right. Manny loves to fight.
Loves to fight.
Loves the challenge.
Well, this is a dazzling display of boxing skill, power, everything. Ring generalship here. Unbelievable.
So, in a historical sense, and obviously the fight's not over, but how good is he, Emmanuel?
I think he's one of the best fighters I've ever saw. And he's what we call a natural. Been getting with a good trainer that really improved him like Freddie did and brought the best out of him. But he is a natural fighter.
Well, I'll say this. I've covered boxing for 24 years, and I covered Ray Leonard from ringside, and this is the best offensive fighter I've ever seen.
He does it all and fights everybody. That's what I like about him. He's really enjoying himself here. See him try to do the kind of Ollie shuffle a few seconds ago.
See what's kept Margarito up in this fight is his enormous size.
The size. The only thing, Jim, before the fight you said you could see it possibly going to 12-round decision only because of Margarito's size.
Yep.
That's the only factor, but it's strictly a Pacquiao show.
No, if I had a prediction, it was going to be that Pacquiao would win all 12 rounds, win a unanimous decision, and there'd be a lot of nervous moments in it.
Yes.
I thought Pacquiao would stop Margarito right around the 6th or 7th round, and
you may be on target,
or you may be, because Margarito seems to be weathering these storms pretty well in spite of the way his face looks.
Margarito's hanging in, and he's having more flurries as the fight continues, but Pacquiao just stunned him with a right hook and backed him off again. 2 more big power shots for Pacquiao to finish the round.
Good boy, listen in.
I need you to get these legs out from me now.
Officer.
Tiene que hacerlo. Vamos.
Come on, Tony, you gotta do it. Close him up.
No se olvide el pinche jab de todos modos, ¿eh?
It's the edges coming in. Use your jab, more movement, more bend your waist, and attack.
Cerradito, pero métasele a tirar putazo, Tony.
Here you see Manny Pacquiao landing all of these precise punches. Even with a guards up high defense, he still pinpoints areas where he can get through and penetrate. But to me, the perfect fight is the way he fought the last round. Punching, moving in and out, taking advantage of that great natural coordination and balance and footwork that he has.
CompuBox numbers in round 7. Pacquiao 45 of 104, his high output for the fight. Margarito 31 out of 71, his best round of the fight, landing at 44%. Harold Letterman is still given every round in the fight so far to Manny Pacquiao. And incidentally, I'll alter my prediction, guys. If Margarito throws an uppercut from too far away, Pacquiao might counter him and knock him out.
That replay that we just showed was a 6-punch combination where every punch landed from Pacquiao in the middle of the ring.
And look at the fact that Margarito had his defense up all that time, and he penetrated to defense. It's amazing.
There was a time in the middle of his career when Manny Pacquiao was a terrific, world-class, one-handed fighter. Margarito banging him against the ropes here, trying to get to Pacquiao's body. That could change the fight. Pacquiao fighting back with his back on the ropes.
And here comes
Manny. And he turns it around and bangs Margarito viciously. Left cross straight on the bad eye. And another one. Right on that badly bruised right eye of Margarito. Pacquiao hits him again with the left. Margarito nods at him. Pacquiao hits him at will. Bang!
Know who else likes to fight? Know who else likes to fight? Margarito.
Absolutely.
You know, I've trained in the gym with Margarito, and what he trains going 15 and 16 rounds. That's because he wins his fights on stamina. So even though he's tired and being beat up pretty much, he trains himself to fight this way. So he's still going to be fighting very strong going down the stretch in this fight. Because that's his biggest factor, is fighting while he's tired.
And he's blocking some of the punches, taking some. He took a big left hook there. Remember, Pacquiao is taking full shots from a 165-pound man who outweighs him 17 pounds in the ring tonight.
And speaking of redemption for Margarito, so far this has been a measure of redemption because he's never stopped fighting his fight in spite of a frightful beating. And he's had success fighting in spots the way we used to see him knock out good opponents.
But he's not breaking Manny Pacquiao up the way he did Miguel Cotto. Draw your own conclusions.
I talked to Miguel earlier today. Miguel said this was going to be a very tough fight. As I was telling him, I thought that Pacquiao had to edge. He said, man, he may have edge, but it's going to be a hard fight.
What an exchange.
What a fight. I mean, this is a fun fight to watch for a fight that's being won fairly one-sidedly by Pacquiao.
Okay. So don't let him go away, Tony. Don't let him escape. You got the conditioning. We've got 4 damn rounds. Okay, 4 damn rounds. Let's go. This is it. This is it. It's the same cut. It hasn't moved. It's the same thing. Same thing, doctor.
Don't let him put you on the ropes. He did back in the middle and back him up and put him on the ropes. Come on, open up for me. I want you to hold your breath for a second.
Here you see Pacquiao in the ropes again, which is where every time that Margarito has a good rally, or so to say, it's always when he's got him pinned in the ropes. But usually right after that, always, Manny comes right back with a flurry of punches. But Margarito's best success has been when he's had him in the ropes. And here this left uppercut, which is his weakness, right up through the center.
Shots in the 8th round. Pacquiao landed 35 out of 65. That's sensational. Margarito had a tremendous round, landing 29 out of 55. Again, Harold Letterman continues to give every round to Manny Pacquiao. So I think with the rest of us.
Even when Margarito's having those great moments with Pacquiao's back on the ropes, Pacquiao, even in those moments, is landing almost as much as Margarito, it seems to me.
And gentlemen, CompuBox reports that the 34 punches Margarito landed in that last round are the most anybody's ever landed against Manny Pacquiao in a single round. So now Pacquiao has a new distinction in his career. He took the most punches he's ever taken in one round from a guy who outweighs him 17 pounds. And Manny holds on, and he's getting tired.
Yeah, but it's a, it's a size factor. If it wasn't the fact that Margarito was so big, almost 20 pounds bigger, Manny would have knocked him out sooner. But he's been able to absorb. It's much like when Sugar Ray Roberts fought Joey Maximum time. And he did everything, but the 15-pound weight advantage was too much, and it wore Robertson down.
Remember that when Henry Armstrong went up and tried to win the middleweight championship after having won the featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight championships already, he ran out of gas against a bigger man.
Seferino Garcia, and that was once the case again. It was just too much weight difference.
Well, he got a draw.
Yeah,
Many think he deserves to win.
Yeah. But it's just a bigger man can absorb the punches a little better than a smaller guy. But a regular 140-pounder, I think Manny would have knocked out.
There was another left-hand rally by Manny Pacquiao. But showing intelligence and perhaps some fatigue, Pacquiao for the first time in this round has begun to move away simply to create space between himself and Margarito. Call it breathing room.
And smart strategy. He can pretty much do what he wants from long range, even though he's a smaller fighter, Pacquiao.
Another anomaly.
If he's in good shape and he can continue to do this, he'll win the fight fairly easy. But, once he gets in the ropes, Margarito uses his physical strength to rough him up.
It does seem as though Pacquiao's maybe decided that he can't knock Margarito out at this point.
Unless somebody wants to stop the fight because of that right eye, which is grotesque at this point.
And as I said, that Pacquiao landed some great hooks. Knockout-style hooks.
nothing. The cut is nothing. Breathe, breathe. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Tony.
Damn. No, forget about that. You've got to get in close. Get in close. So the last 2 rounds, you've got to knock him out.
Here you see Manny Pacquiao do what he does better than any boxer in the game. Let a guy miss, catch him with a punch, let him miss, hit him with a punch again. A lot of guys will let guys miss punches, but they don't take advantage of it the way that he does.
How painful was that? And there's Michelle Margarito, Antonio's wife, unaccountably with a big grin on her face, while her husband's face is being treated in the corner and is becoming a grotesque bloody mask.
He has a cut under his eye, Margarito. You saw in that replay. When he gets hit, it flaps.
Stop. Time. ¿Cuántos?
Lawrence Cole trying to see if Antonio Margarito can still see. Tests him in the middle of the ring. Harold, how do you have it so far?
I still got it a shutout. 90-81, 9 rounds to nothing. The hard-punching Manny Pacquiao. Jim, he's landing a cleaner, harder shots in every round. He's elusive as all get out, like Emmanuel's been saying. I mean, he's doing it all right. Beautiful ring generalship, fairly good defense. You know, he's been really aggressive, just fighting the perfect fight. 9-0, Manny Pacquiao.
Someday, boxing fans will look back and have a lot of fun arguing with each other about what was Manny Pacquiao's greatest performance, what was his most impressive feat, what was his biggest night. If this continues the way it does, and he wins all 12 rounds against a guy 17 pounds bigger than himself, touching him up, beating him up, ruining his face the way he is, this will be in the discussion.
Well, it's not just that Margarito's 17 pounds bigger, it's that Pacquiao's moved up 40 pounds and then gave away 17 pounds.
Right. He's a former flyweight, beating up one of the biggest welterweights we ever saw.
Yes, and I still don't consider Pacquiao no more than just a lightweight, about 138, 39-pounder.
And incidentally,
which is amazing.
You've noticed that long beard on Margarito. Freddie Roach wanted to get the Texas State Athletic Commission to make Margarito shave off the beard, which probably they would have done. Pacquiao said, leave it there. I want to use it as a target. That's a fighter.
Unbelievable machine.
He's putting it on Margarito right now.
The crowd picks up the chant. Manny. Boom! Another perfect right hook. What a show. What an amazing performance. Offensive fighter of the era. Tattooing Margarito.
Well, when all of that, the Margarito just mentally and physically fatigued both. And this right hook.
He's ready to go.
That's one of the biggest jabs I've ever seen.
It was a right hook. He didn't see it coming.
That was a right hook from Pacquiao.
Yeah, Pacquiao
stopped Margarito in his tracks.
Perfect fight.
He had another 30 seconds.
He still may stop him. He may get out of this round, but I think it's a good chance that Pacquiao may stop him in the next couple of rounds.
How badly does Margarito want to get beat up?
Garcia may stop the fight here.
I'm okay. How are you? Tell me, how are you, bastard? I'm okay. Ballsy. You have him in front, you don't throw. It's the same. There's 1 round. There's 2 rounds left. How many fingers? 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Come on, Tony. I want to see you in this round, Tony. If not, you got to knock him out. Come on, Tony. Throw everything. Throw it all. Good. Done. Bring your hands up, Tony. Bring your hands up. Close up. Recoup. Come on. Get in and throw, Tony.
Here you see this counter right hook, which is, as I said earlier, one of the best punches that you can land, and he's very good at that. Used to be when he first came here, he had a great straight left, and that's all you had to look out for. But now He's developed into a balanced out fighter. Right hook, jab, right uppercut, straight left through the center. Complete fighter.
Once he added the right hand to his stunning left cross, that took him to an entirely different stratosphere in offensive fighting. The 10th round was one of the most brutally dominant rounds of Pacquiao's career. He landed 57 of 89 power shots. Margarito threw 23 punches and landed 9. That's why Robert Garcia clearly gave consideration to stopping the fight.
Another measure of redemption for Margarito. Even though he's the villain with the hand wraps, he has a ton of heart. He could have gotten out of this fight a million times. Whenever the ref says, how many fingers am I holding? He wants to keep fighting. He's not just doing it as a show for the referee or for the fans, rather. Look at me, I'm tough. He really wants to win the fight, even though he's hopelessly behind and getting
no head movement at all. He's the referee, there's no head movement.
Pacquiao looking towards the ref, asking him to stop the fight at this point, it looks to me. Landed a shot, looked toward Cole's.
He again looks at Cole.
I think
how much punishment do you want him to take? That's what he's saying to Cole.
But the referee's doing a good job, I think. It's right there, you can't stop it yet. Because as long as the guy's punching back. If he was back to the ropes and being hit or something, would be different. But at this stage here, he's out being out punched. But the referee has to wait a few more seconds before he can stop.
Well, he's rearranging Margarito's face, and it may never look the same again.
I don't know, but it's just this is boxing. I hate to say it.
This is a vicious.
This is boxing. Yeah.
The issue is not Margarito's eye at this moment, it's his brain. How many clean headshots
can one man take?
I mean,
his punches have zero snap. He is waving at Pacquiao.
If the referee stopped, there wouldn't be any complaint, but I just don't think he's going to stop it.
Pacquiao again looks at Lawrence Cole.
It's a solid target. He's not moving his head at all.
This reminds me of Roy Jones against Bryant Brannon. Jones actually asked the referee, when in the heck are you going to stop this fight?
Stop!
And then Jones shrugged and knocked Brannon out.
That's exactly right.
But it's not just completed, just he's getting hit so much, but just looking at his eyes, he can't even hardly see.
Margarito fought to the finish against Shane Mosley, who is hammering him similarly to this. Corner asked if they wanted the fight, or if he wanted the fight stopped. He said no. Wanted the fight to the finish. Same thing here, obviously. But it's not doing Margarito any good to take the number of shots he's taking now. Flush on an already badly brutalized face.
The corner may stop it.
He didn't do much in that round.
No, let's go then. Let's go then, Tony. It's not bleeding, it's the same thing. It's the last round. Last damn round, Tony. Tony, okay? Tony, we gotta work the jab. Come on, precise. Work that jab. I want you to do it lively. Be lively. Don't just receive a punishment. Let's go. You can do it. Come on, have that mentality. You can do it. This is last damn round.
If they're acting in the corner as if he wants to quit, and they're trying to force him to keep fighting, to coach him to fight. If they never took the mouthpiece out, that's it.
He only landed 6 out of 18 punches in the 11th round. That after 9 of 23 in the 10th. Pacquiao landed 51 of 75 power shots in the last round, meaning he is more or less hitting Margarito at will. One more round to go. When Pacquiao was doing this to Miguel Cotto, Cotto's wife left the arena. You can see that the smile is utterly gone from the face of Margarito's spouse. They've been together since high school. She's never seen him like this. Max, I honestly wonder whether Pacquiao has no more stomach for the punishment. He doesn't seem eager to hit Margarito anymore.
He does look like he's carrying Margarito right now.
He's much like Joe Calzaghe.
Some of the greatest fighters in history have done this.
Joe Calzaghe seemingly was doing that with Roy Jones in the later rounds, too.
Absolutely. There's no question Pacquiao's pulling his punches now. He is not following through and committing the way he does most of the time. It's an acknowledgement from Pacquiao that the knockout isn't necessary. To a certain degree, it's a nod to Margarito's guts and courage for coming as far as he has. And Pacquiao is going to let him finish the fight.
You wonder seeing this, as great as Pacquiao is and as dominant as he's been, Margarito's not known as an accurate puncher. You wonder if Floyd Mayweather's watching this thinking, maybe the time is right to fight this guy. For years, Sugar Ray Leonard wouldn't fight Marvin Hagler. Of course, Hagler's much bigger than Leonard. Until he felt the time was right. He noticed Hagler slow down against Duran and Mugabe. Then he took the fight. You wonder if maybe Floyd is waiting for Pacquiao to slow down a little bit. Because to my eye, guys, this Pacquiao's not quite the same as the Pacquiao of maybe a year or two ago. A little easier to hit.
That's hard to say because he's fighting such different guys every time out, and they're all so big. Now suddenly there's some Manny energy. Looks as though he wants to make sure that he wins the round, make clear who's still dominant, but obviously he's not trying to finish Margarito. This is not Manny Pacquiao the fighter. This is Manny Pacquiao the congressman, Manny Pacquiao the cultural icon, Manny Pacquiao the citizen of the world. That's the man who's letting Margarito finish. And we're done.
Jim, your prediction was right.
Pacquiao has his unanimous decision victory. Margarito has a vicious beatdown to remember, and the satisfaction of having finished the fight. Cold comfort though that may be. Harold Lederman scores it 120 to 108. That's a shutout. If I were scoring, that would have been mine too.
I gave one round to
Margarito.
I gave him the it's a comparative round anyway because he did better.
Something like that. Yeah, it's almost like a courtesy round.
Courtesy round.
What you're saying is he did well enough in that round that if you wanted to give him one, that would be it.
Yeah, I gave him the 6th round.
6th, yeah.
He didn't get beat that bad in the 6th round.
It's a relatively inexperienced judging crew in some ways, so there's no telling what the scores will be, but it's impossible to imagine that Margarito has the edge on any scorecard. You saw Fernando Vargas there talking to Margarito in the corner. A happy Pacquiao corner. Manny's face showing some effects, but not much, considering that he ate some uppercuts and some jabs early.
Yeah, he got hit a little bit in this fight, body and head.
Well, I'm not of the opinion that Pacquiao's ever been hard to hit, Emmanuel. You can hit him. The question is how many times is he going to hit you? Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen from Cowboy Stadium, we go to the scorecards. Jay Lango scores the bout 120-108. Glenn Crocker 118-110. Oren Schellenberger 119-109. All three to the winner by unanimous decision. And now winner of his 8th World Championship, the fighting pride of Sarangani Province, Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.
Victory number 52 in Manny Pacquiao's now legendary career. His 13th consecutive win in the late stages of his career. his 5th consecutive conquest of a significantly bigger man. A vicious beatdown of a guy who outweighed him 17 pounds in the ring. CompuBox numbers colossally one-sided. Pacquiao lands 245 more punches, throws 252 more punches, lands at a super high 44% connect rate. 58% of his power shots. Against a guy who has held world titles, 58% of his power shots, that's just astonishing. And now let's take a look at Punch Zone to see where Pacquiao was touching Margarito up. And of course you saw it. 117 landed punches on the side of Margarito's face that was turned into hamburger by the 4th or 5th round. 136 landed punches on the other side of the head and 148 on the chin. That's 401, and I'll make it 399. 399 punches landed upstairs. No, 401. That was correct the first time. Credit to producer Dave Harmon, he was right. And the body shots and all these numbers and further testimony to the greatness of Manny Pacquiao, and Max is with him right now.
Congratulations, Manny, on another brilliant performance. That's a pretty big guy you just beat up. What was that like?
It's hard. I really do my best to win the fight. He's strong and he's a very tough fighter, and I can't believe it.
What can't you believe?
He's very tough and strong, and I never expect that one.
You never expected him to be as strong as he was?
Yes.
It looked as though by the middle of the fight, you were putting your back on the ropes and letting him work you over a little bit. Why was your back on the ropes?
Well, I'm trying to psycho him that I'm not hurting his punches, but but the truth is I really strong and I got hurt.
When did you get hurt?
When I stay in the rope.
He did. He hurt you. Where did he hurt you?
Yes, in the body and in the face. He got me in the uppercut. So, I'm so lucky tonight.
By the end of the fight, the last couple of rounds, it looked to us as though you turned to the referee, maybe asking him to stop the fight. Can you tell us what happened there when you were looking towards the referee in the 11th round?
Yeah, because I feel pity to my opponent, and he looks his eyes and his bloody face, and take a look for that.
In the 12th round, it looked to us like maybe you were backing off a little bit, maybe not to hurt him. Did you carry him in the 12th round?
Well, I'm not looking on the 12th round. I'm not looking for a knockout. I'm just I want to finish the round.
So you were easing up a little bit in the 12th?
Yeah, I take it easy because my trainer said, and he said, take it easy and you win the round and just be careful, Hanson.
Okay, we keep wondering when there's going to be a guy who's just too big for you. Is this as big a guy as you can fight?
That's why I can say it's really hard, fighting with Miguel Mukoto. He's very big and taller than me, and I can't believe that I beat like that easy.
Okay, and finally, no one can end an interview with you without asking you about a potential fight with Floyd Mayweather. What's your comment at this point?
For me, I'm not scared to fight anybody as long there's not gonna problem with the negotiation of my promoter, and that's my promoter job. I'm just a fighter to do my job and train hard for the fight.
Manny, thanks again. Another brilliant performance. We look forward to seeing you again as soon as possible. But excuse me, what are your plans? Are you going to continue to fight?
Yes, I am still strong and I continue to fight, and I want to thank God for giving me strength tonight and the victory that He gave me tonight, and also to all the fans who came here tonight and to watch a good fight. And that's all I can give, and I'm trying to make people happy.
You are a dedicated congressman and talk about liking going back to that job. So the pull of Congress has not yet overtaken the pull of the ring?
That's why now I have another job. After this, I'm going back to the Philippines and do my job as a public servant, and I want to help people. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, no one can ever question your heart, Tony. Tell us what that fight was like for you.
Bueno, sí. La verdad, pues, Manny, sabíamos que era bastante rápido, bastante rápido. La verdad, todo estaba bien. Nomás cuando me cortó, ya no lo miraba bien ya no me dejaba mirar bien.
We knew Manny was very fast, and we were going good until I got cut, and then that's when the problems started coming.
Did you ever consider stopping the fight?
¿En algún momento?
No, para nada. Yo como todo mexicano siempre doy el corazón arriba del ring y la verdad le fallé esta vez a mi México nuevamente, pero vamos para adelante.
No way. I'm a Mexican. We fight till the end, and this time I failed Mexico, but we'll fight till the end.
Robert, I'd like to ask you, because he's a Mexican who fights till the end, but was taking a real beating. Did you ever consider stopping the fight and maybe saving Tony from himself?
Never did. Tony's a warrior, and he would have never allowed me to stop this fight.
Thank you both. Jim?
All right, so a good look at the winner and the loser, and Manny Pacquiao has yet another stunning triumph, another feather in his cap, another credential to add to his already historic list. And Emmanuel Stewart, at this point, he's running out of opponents. We mentioned Floyd Mayweather. That's the fight that everybody continues to talk about, but in the assumption that maybe Mayweather isn't available again. Miguel Cotto's here at ringside, your fighter. There's talk of a possible rematch with Pacquiao. Shane Mosley's here. He says he's a promotional free agent now, which may be required to get a fight with Pacquiao, and he says he thinks there'll be some talk about it. Who else?
It's very difficult right now. He's went through everybody, and just the idea of him fighting Martinez or either Paul Williams or someone like that. I mean, extremely big guys, it just doesn't fit too well.
Big guys who are fast.
Big guys who are fast also. I think that, believe it or not, I think the excitement that's going on in the 140-pound division, weird as it is, it might be we have to go. There are Amir Khans and those type fighters that are coming up, and Tim Bradley and those type guys. He may have to go back to that. I mean, maybe just jumping up and fighting up to say you're going up, but it's, after a while, I think he's plateaued out here.
Well, it was another great performance by Pacquiao, and he continues to look for further mountains to climb and new worlds to conquer in boxing. And again, Emmanuel and I just discussed it. Max, welcome back. Seems to be running out of opponents. What do you see coming down the road?
Well, I'd first like to make a comment about what we saw tonight.
Yeah.
In the sense that the NFL champion will be crowned later in this NFL season here at Dallas Cowboys Stadium. But there's no super brawl this year, and there wasn't one last year or the year before that, because Floyd Mayweather seems to not be willing to fight Manny Pacquiao. And as I mentioned during the last round of the fight we just saw with Pacquiao and Margarito, sometimes a fighter, think of Sugar Ray Leonard watching Marvin Hagler, waits for his chief rival to slow down, waits for just the right moment to fight him. And as impressive as Pacquiao just looked, he got hit much more than we've seen him get hit in years, looked much more vulnerable, admitted after the fight that he was hurt a couple times to the head and the body. And I think if it's the case that Mayweather's waiting for the right time to fight Pacquiao, the time might be approaching. At least we should hope it's approaching.
So years from now, we'll say, we know Mayweather was a genius. He waited for Pacquiao to fight 5 bigger guys. He watched him fight a guy who was 17 pounds larger. Maybe he'll take the fight next week.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Max and Emmanuel, and thanks to you for being with us on another tremendous night in Cowboy Stadium and another tremendous night for Manny Pacquiao, a familiar and richly satisfying continuing story in boxing.
I mean, I just do my job, and, you know, my opponent is not that easy, and it's very strong and very tough, and I hit a lot in his face, but still strong and can fight.
Did you think the fight should have been stopped at some point?
Well, that's why I'm looking for the referee to look at it, and because they have a lot of bad cut here in the right eyes, and I know, I mean, boxing is not about killing each other; it's about entertainment to everybody.
It seemed like in the 6th round he had one of his best rounds. Did he ever hurt you?
I tell you the truth, you know, I got hurt in the body shot, but I feel, you know, I feel so weak on that round because I got really hurt in my stomach, and I recover right away.
Now what, Manny? Do you want the fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr.? That's the fight everybody wants to see. What do you want?
Well, if the fight happen, that's good, and if not, I'm okay because I'm happy for what I have done in boxing, and I want my job is to entertain people, and I want them to make happy, and if that fight happen, that's good for us and to the people who love boxing.
Thank you so much, Manny Pacquiao. Now back to you.
Thank you very much. Pacquiao winning a title in his record-extending 8th weight division. That's 2 more than the next closest person on this list, and a man he beat, Oscar De La Hoya. Pacquiao's now won titles at flyweight, super bantamweight, featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, junior welterweight, welterweight, and now junior middleweight. We'll see if he continues to move up and if we get that super bout with Floyd Mayweather. We begin with the big fight in Big D. Manny Pacquiao defeats Antonio Margarito by unanimous decision, winning the WBC junior middleweight title. Pac-Man more than made up with his speed what he lacked in size, turned Margarito into a bloody and nearly blind fighter. Pacquiao's now won 13 straight fights, while Margarito suffers the 7th loss of his career. Teddy Atlas, break it down.
Going into this fight, everybody was talking about the size advantage. Well, it did turn out to be the size advantage, but not quite on the side that people thought. Manny Pacquiao had the size advantage. He was too fast, he was too quick with his hands, too quick with his feet. And of course, Margarito, well, what good is it being a bigger, stronger guy if you can't sit down and land a punch on the smaller guy? All night long, it was one way. It was Manny Pacquiao getting in, getting out, winning the fight.
The next question is the question that we face just about every single day in our livelihood. What about Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather? What are the chances now, Dan, given that there is legal difficulty, a domestic dispute, felony counts, misdemeanor counts facing Floyd Mayweather? He's got to be back in court in January. Can this fight happen?
Well, listen, if Floyd is free and clear from his legal issues, then the fight will happen if Floyd Mayweather says he wants it to happen. That's what it comes down to. Pacquiao's ready to roll. Pacquiao's willing to negotiate. Top Rank and Bob Arum, they're ready to make this fight. It's up to Floyd Mayweather. End of story.
This could have been Floyd Mayweather here tonight instead of Antonio Margarito, and it's not. It could have been him back in March. Maybe we should learn something from that. Let's send it back to you.